Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I'm just being me in a world that isn't. Today, I'm talking about the Jones Rally Cat, basically a mellow aviator. I got this in a wide variety of late spring conditions. Everything from firm but fair snow to wet, messy, uneven snow. Even got a little bit of late spring powder, and I rode it with the Union Force, Union Atlas, Ride Deadbolts, Battalion Acid Boa boots. When it comes to sizing, I was really impressed at how well this 56 fit me, especially for my size 9 boots. I felt like maybe I was a touch on the heavy side, but I was really impressed at how well it handled my weight at 185 to 192-ish when I was riding this. I'd like to try the 58 because that seems like another great fit for me. I could easily handle the 161 because this is not a hard board to turn, but at that point it's getting a little too long and a little too wide for me for what this is designed for. I would lose that fun spinny feel that I got with the 56. If I was gonna choose one board to give me a little bit of everything, I'd probably go 58, but I really enjoyed this 56 and it didn't feel undersized. Now let's talk snowboard dating app. Some things that'll make you want to swipe right. This has very good pop. It's easy to butter. The fun, playful flex that's still pretty damp. This has great grip. This has the ability to set back and get some easier directional float. Some things that'll make you want to swipe left. If you like that ultra dynamic poppy feel of the Aviator, you might not like the Rally Cat. So let's talk shape. This is a pretty centered directional twin, and it has that Aviator 2.0 shape and feel between the feet. When you get to the camber profile, you can see it's got a decent amount of camber going well past the inserts to just a little bit before the nose and tail. And it's a combination of a touch of early rise with some spoon nose and tail. Wood bends differently from board to board. It also weighs differently. But on average, this will have a little bit more mellow camber than the Aviator. Looking at this here on the table, you would think this would have that mostly camber, pretty locked in, catchy feel, but it didn't. Yeah, it might feel a little more locked in, a little more catchy than the Jones Mountain Twin Pro that you see here, and the regular Jones Mountain Twin that has the same camber profile with spoon nose, but it was way better than I thought for this flex. So I think any intermediate could ride this, maybe even a committed beginner. I found that it tracked really well off the chair. It went down long, flat cat tracks really well. It was very easy to skid a turn. It feels the same in all conditions. It's a very easy board to get used to from day one. When it comes to edge hold, you can see there's that mellow disruption in the side cut that does so well in hard snow. I personally like this grip better than the Aviator 2.0 because this flex personality was softer and it made the edge feel more quiet and grip better in harder snow, even hard uneven snow. And that surprised me. I wouldn't call this an icy snow specialist, but definitely a hard snow specialist. I could commit to a much harder turn on this without the tip and tail feeling washy or the edge letting go with this than I could with a lot of other boards, including the Mountain Twin Pro on same day tests. It was behind the Yes Basic Unink, but that's just on another level of side cut disruption. So let's talk Rally Cat Flex. This is the 56. You can see there isn't a lot of give in the tail. There's a little more in the nose, but it's pretty stiff there and there. It has some of that tweaker flex to it where it gives a lot more in the middle, as you can see, than the tip and tail. Then with that camber and only a little bit of early rise, it seems like it might not be that easy to butter, but it is. It was easier than the Jones Mountain Twin, even though it has a lot more camber than that. And that's mainly because of this give right here. Then on top of that, it has great pop on an ollie. It's very easy to access and has a lot of spring out of the turn, while not feeling like a full-on noodle on the mountain. I really enjoyed this flex personality on snow. Now, when it comes to handling uneven snow, it's a little poppy, it's a little bucky, but this Rally Cat for this flex did very well. I never felt like it was fatiguing me or getting me off my game too much. This is a great all-day ride for people who ride on weekends and want to ride all day. I liked it better than the Aviator, liked it better than the Mountain Twin Pro, and even the Mountain Twin. When it comes to speed, this Rally Cat does well for this flex and this side cut that lives a little bit more on the turny side. However, if you like to point it, you do better with other boards like the Frontier, that's much faster and much more stable at speed, or the Aviator 2.0. But for what this is, I thought it did pretty well, and you can pick up some moderate mountain speed with this. Now, when it comes to base glide, hey, you're looking at the end of the test. I'm not gonna re-wax this, but I found that this Rally Cat base just felt a little slower than most of the Jones bases out there. I think it's because it's multicolored. It's got some die cut in here that you can feel. I really felt this. I thought the Aviator's base was a little faster, even though they're both centered 8,000 bases. I just didn't feel the glide like I normally do with Jones boards. But let's put it this way. Jones makes really fast bases, so this is still very good for the price point. Now, when it comes to turning and carving, I felt like it initiated a turn really well, really quick. And when I got it on edge and really committed to a harder turn, it really held well and it never felt washy. I did the same thing on the Jones Mountain Twin Pro and it would wash out unless I was very center weighted. I still think this likes a more center weighted turner. That's where this lit up the most, but it didn't feel washy, committing hard to your front foot or back foot, and I really like that. They might have made some slight tweak to how the effective edge, the spoon tech, and the camber profile all work together to give you a really fun, unique turning experience. And yeah, this isn't some super hard carver because of this softer flex torsionally and tip to tail, but I had a blast carving on this because I'm not setting the world on fire when it comes to carving. I'm just an average snowboarder who likes a moderate speed carve, and this did great. And when it comes to powder, I thought this did very well for what it is, for having so much camber, as long as you were set all the way back. If you're gonna ride centered, you might appreciate the Jones Mountain Twin and Mountain Twin Pro a lot better. If you like to set it all the way back and get easy directional float, you're gonna like the Frontier better. That's a much more directional board with more setback on board and a longer nose with more early rise. However, if you want to compromise between the Mountain Twin and Frontier and get pretty easy directional float like you would with boards like the basic Unink, and to a lesser extent the standard Unink, that's a little better floater, you can get some pretty easy directional float with this, and I like this in powder. It wasn't a standout, but it's definitely good for a one board quiver. And if you set it all the way back with a full-size disc binding, you can go a little bit further with mini discs. At a 22-inch stance width here, you can get 2.125 back from center of board. That's pretty good directional float for an all mountain board. It's almost there with the Yes Basic Unink and a lot of other all mountain boards, and it's a good bit more than the Jones Mountain Twin and Mountain Twin Pro in terms of setback. The spoon nose is really fun in soft snow and powder too. It might not help that much with the float, but it makes the turning experience so much better. When you ride this centered on side cut, this does an amazing job. I rode this a lot switch and had a blast. Can act like a very good mountain freestyle board. It's also a great board to take into the park and hit kickers with. If you're going really big, you want the Aviator 2.0, but But if you're Mr. Small like me and you just like little side hits around the mountain, it tracks really well into a jump for being a little bit on the turny side of balanced, side cut wise. And I didn't feel any washiness trying to load the edge going off a jump. I like this kind of side cut for riding pipe personally for being as average as I am. You could even jib with this because of that softer flex. So it's a very versatile park ride if you want to size down a little bit and play around there, but still ride the mountain. And overall, I had a blast with this. And I'm gonna be torn between the Rally Cat and the Frontier as a great one board quiver recommendation. The Frontier is going to be better in powder, better for getting speed. It's more directional. I just love this pop more. I love the way this rides switch more. I like this better than the Mountain Twin Pro, which is a much higher end board. I like this better than the Mountain Twin. I feel like this does a lot of things very well and even shines pretty bright for a one board quiver in a lot of places. I'm going to be recommending this to a lot of people.